Let's create a brand new program that works with arrays. Arrays are like a bank of mailboxes you'd see in an apartment, where each mailbox is addressed by an actual number. In other words, when the post person comes to put something in the mailbox, they have to know the location in order to put the letter or package or whatever inside that mailbox. Arrays are simply memory locations that will hold values of the same data type. In Java, an array has to have the same data type for each element. In other words, if you want to create an array of names, then that array would hold string values in each of the elements, or mailboxes, as I like to jokingly call them. Let's create a brand new project, and I'm going to go ahead and just call this arrays. And then I'll make sure the create main class is checked, and I'll click the finish button. Let's create a program that would allow us to store 3 names in an array. The first thing you have to do is specify the data type for the array. That's going to be string. The next thing you do is you specify that it's going to be an array. This is done through the use of square brackets. Then you can give it a variable name. I'm going to call mine AS names. I use the lowercase as for an array of string, Hungarian notation. Now in Java, you need to understand that you could put the square brackets on the variable name, like that, or you could put the square brackets on the data type. Now this simply creates a variable. That's all it is. It's not an array yet, it's just a variable. And an array is an object. The way you create new objects is you have to actually use the keyword new. And then we have to specify the data type again, and then how big of an array you want to make. That says create a variable called ASNames that will be an array holding string values, and there will be 3 positions in that array. Arrays are 0 based, so if I wanted to store values to that array, I would say AS names, and then I use the square bracket to specify the direction or the location or the element number. Remember, if it was a bank of mailbox, the post person has to know which mailbox to put it in. Arrays are 0 based in Java. So 0 would say store a value in the first array element, and I could store the name Greg. I could store something in the other elements also. That now stores 3 string values into each element of the string array. You could also print those values out by typing in the array name and the location. I'm going to copy and paste. Time is money. So if I ran this now, it says create a variable called ASNames. That's going to be a string array, and let's go ahead and create the array and make it 3 positions long, or 3 boxes, or 3 elements. In the first element of the array, let's assign the string Greg. The second element of the array, assign the string buckwheat, and the third element of the array, assign the string alfalfa. Make sure you remember, arrays are 0 based. This is a confusion I often see, that since we put a 3 here, we think the numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, when in fact, the number here starts at 0, so it's 0, 1, and 2. Still 3 positions long, but it starts at 0. Then you can simply access them and print them off. Let's run this and see what it looks like. And there's the output. Now if I wanted to, I could automate this a little bit more. I'm going to close my output window. I'm going to come back up to here. I'm going to create a variable called iCount. And I'm going to create a for loop. I want to process each of these elements of the array, starting with 0 and going to 2. In other words, I want to stay in this loop as long as there's an element in the array. The array is an object, and an object has attributes. One of the attributes is called length. And if you notice, what I can do then is, since the variable iCount starts at 0, drops into the loop, actually first thing it does is it says, is iCount is equal to 0, is iCount less than the length of the array, which is 3. That's true, so it drops into here and it says print out the contents of the array at position iCount. First time, iCount is 0. Prints it off, prints off Greg. It increments iCount, goes to 1. Is 1 less than the length of the array, which is 3? It is. Print off buckwheat. Increment to 2. Is 2 less than the length of the array? It is. Print off alfalfa. Increment. 3. Is 3 less than the length of the array? It's not. 3 is not less than 3, so it gets out of the loop. Let's see that run. So the main things to remember from this short video is that when we create an array, you simply declare a variable, you specify the array type, you use the square brackets to say that it's going to be an array, and then to actually create the array, you have to use the word new, the data type, and you give it a size. Then you access the elements of the array through the location using the variable name and the square brackets. And then, since the array is an object, it has attributes, and one of the attributes is length, which says how many elements are in that array.